I don't know. Maybe she just got lucky with the show. I don't know how good she's supposed to be. But I hope in this episode they tell us who stays and who breaks up. Mm-hmm. You know? But he seems like a happy guy in general, though.
Yeah, because he probably feels like, damn, we make shit so much harder than it needs to be. Why is everything so deep?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that serious. Life is good. Like,
yeah.
But everything is so deep for you, you know?
Like this sort of obsessive crush that, like, I've talked to Lauren a lot.
Lauren.
And then I was, like, a little dejected.
She said he?
Then I sort of, like, realized, like, oh, this crush is...
It sounds like he. Well, I think her crush. Her crush.
She said he didn't.
Yeah.
Pain onion. And pregnant.
I told you this bitch happened.
Maybe it would make her...
Knew it.
We learned that, well, Mal and them have pretty much decided they're not going to be together, but...
I think, but to me, to be honest, the biggest problem I think I see with all these people are like major codependency issues.
Welcome to All About the Benjamins, a podcast where we binge and we know things. And the things we know are TV shows. I'm Jay Noetic.
And I'm Lolita.
Hey, join us each week and every week as we work our way through multiple episodes of a show. We're currently doing a couples therapy and we are finishing up episode 8 and 9. Because we had a technical difficulty on episode 7.
Yeah.
But episode 8 and 9. So y'all know we talk about characters, the plot, the themes, anything else that comes to mind. Whether you're a casual TV watcher or a hardcore super fan, we're sure you'll find something to enjoy on All About the Benjamins. So remember to join us every week and as we explore the world of TV, one show at a time, and maybe if we're lucky, make some Benjamins along the way. Mm-hmm. All right, man. So we are finishing up season 1.
Yes, it has been actually pretty short. I was gonna say
it's only been 9 episodes.
Yeah.
It was a short episode, short season.
Yeah.
But I will say that I have enjoyed learning about these characters, these people.
Yeah,
for
sure. I wish they would have gone like deeper with solutions, but I know we can't like be there for their whole lives.
I'm
invested. I want to be there for their whole lives. I want to see everything.
I completely agree with you. I want more details.
Yeah.
Like I don't really want the drama. Like I don't want to see arguing, but I want to see the deeper root causes of like what is causing them to have these issues.
Right. Because I feel like they just didn't go deep enough for me. Like they kind of left it at surface level, and it was over here and over there, but it wasn't enough for us to piece it together.
Yeah.
For me to get like a holistic view of like the real issue, because I still don't know what the real issue with Evelyn and Sean.
Evelyn and Deshaun. Well, there's talking about the black couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think theirs mostly came down to trust. Evelyn didn't have a lot of trust,
which is surprising because she like had a whole husband when she met Sean. And it was like her work.
That's probably why it started, because she was doing that.
I need to know the dirt.
Her work husband.
I want to know the dirt. I need to know how you went from being co-workers with this man, had a whole husband, and then now
did they cheat? Did she cheat on her husband that caused the divorce?
We don't know.
We don't know. But that would be a good little twist on it. So let's just talk about something real quick, because Lolita does not like the therapist. I don't think you like the therapist at all.
No, it's
let's
not
talk
that,
about it. What don't you like about it?
It's not that I don't like the therapist. I feel like it was a lot of, tell me about that. It wasn't, She didn't, like, I didn't hear a lot of solutions from her. It was a lot of, I guess, I don't know. It just wasn't enough. And like you said, there might have been things that we did not see on camera than she showed. She probably did go deeper at some point.
Yeah.
But for us, for the
viewers, yeah.
You know, I didn't see her give them a lot of solutions. So I was kind of like, she's not giving enough for me to feel like she's actually helping them.
So as someone who has never been to therapy, from my perspective, I do not necessarily know if I would want my therapist telling me what to do. But you did mention that you did go to therapy before, correct?
Yes, I have. I've been to couples therapy and I've had therapy on my own.
And in your experience with the couples therapy, did that therapist give solutions? Well, like, what was your thought process? Like, what occurred?
Yes, it was like yes and no. So there were times where, of course, she let us come to our own solution, but both of the therapists, because I went to two different ones for couples therapy, they were good at explaining why the other person felt the way they felt and why the interaction was going how it was. So I feel like we did get some type of solution. Like, for example, let's say we were having an argument and this person, my partner, wanted to talk to me during work hours, and I was not giving, I guess, I wasn't really communicating the best way because I'm like, this is not the time. I got to focus on work.
Yeah.
And they didn't understand it. They thought, well, if the relationship was important, I would like, you know, I guess put that to the side for a moment and have these conversations. Like, we both work remotely, so we were always together.
Always, yeah.
And it felt like that means any moment, hour of the day was a time for a conversation. And for me, it's like, it's not. Like, let me focus on what I'm doing, and then I'll get back to you later when I'm done, when I can focus. And, you know, the therapist was like, hey, maybe, you know, don't start an argument in the morning, or maybe if there's something you do want to discuss, maybe take some time out later, you know, once
to talk about it.
People are not working and trying to get through the workday, because what happens is if I have a heavy workload and I'm trying to have this conversation, I can't even focus on my job no more. I can't even focus on what I need to get done, and then I'm behind. And maybe you're Gucci, maybe you don't have the same type of workload you have. I have. So it was adding a lot on me. So she did give us some solutions on how to work through that, and I honestly appreciated that.
I can definitely respect that. And put my phone on Do Not Disturb, since these notifications are coming through. Yeah, I definitely have never gone to a therapist, but I would. So, episode 8, Lauren and Sarah. One thing that they discussed in this episode was carrying trauma from her past relationships. And I'm talking about, carrying trauma. Lauren openly acknowledged that a lot of times that when Sarah says things, it makes her feel like she's not good enough, right, or that, you know, the things that she's been doing are not being acknowledged. And she said a lot of that, she feels like the exact same type of relationship she had just came out of, and that automatically triggers her. You know, and I thought that was very empowering, because I think we always talk about like how a lot of our issues come from childhood, but I think sometimes we forget that like some of our trauma comes from our past relationships.
Oh, facts.
Right? And like, 1,000%. And we think we're healed from that stuff, and then the littlest thing can trigger you, and then you get defensive, you know? What are your thoughts on Lauren and now in the final episode, well, the last 2 episodes, where are you on Lauren and Sarah's relationship?
So I think Lauren should be looking at it in 2 different ways. If this is happening in both of my relationships, maybe there is something I am lacking.
Common denominator there?
Yeah, I'm lacking some type of awareness. And it also could be because I kind of understood what she, like, I guess the whole scenario with maybe Lauren sometimes tend to be in her own world. Girl, you might have ADHD. because that's a big thing for me. I can sometimes
be squirreling.
Completely, yes, squirrel brain, like, and just not really pay attention to certain things, like just things. You know what I'm saying? Just squirrel brain. So maybe that can be a side effect of maybe it's ADHD. I don't know. Maybe it's just laziness. Who knows? So that's one thing to look at. Like, why are you kind of like not present during? Why are you kind of just, I guess, inattentive in certain ways or detached from whatever is going on? And then also Sarah. That's her name, right? Yeah, Sarah. Why is everything an issue? If this person is doing everything that they need to do for you and with you, is it such a big deal? Like, people are not going to be perfect, obviously. But I feel like when you really don't like somebody, I feel like you nitpick. I don't feel like that happens when you actually fuck with somebody. Yeah. You know, so I feel like you'll be like, oh, that's just how they are. They're maybe if she did throw something on the bed and she didn't know, it's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm making the bed, and then just take it off. And she'll be like, oh, my bad.
It shouldn't turn into an argument.
Like, it shouldn't turn into an argument. Yeah. Unless you don't like that motherfucker, then you're like just annoyed and frustrated. Yeah. That's just my take on that.
I think I also think that when you have other issues that you haven't talked about, that you've been holding on to.
Oh yeah, it builds up.
It builds up. So when you throw something on the bed, and that was part of something in episode 8 that Sarah had complained about. I think it makes it a bigger issue.
Right.
Where I feel like I'm very empathetic to Lauren, and I don't know if it's because
man vibes.
Just no, maybe. No, I think I'm empathetic to people who are really trying to find themselves, and I think that Lauren has, at least what has been shown to us, has really had a hard time transitioning, and I know for me personally, I've never transitioned, obviously, but
I mean, it's not obvious. You
never know with testosterone these days.
Right.
But there was a process of really, in my 20s, of really trying to find out who I was and becoming the man I am, becoming the person I wanted to be. And it was really hard. And there were a lot of things I struggled with. And I was horrible at relationships in my 20s. And so I found myself very empathetic towards Lauren. And I hope, because I know what it feels like to feel like you are doing everything you possibly can to make the relationship work and it still not be good enough. And some of that could be self-sabotage or your own thinking. It's like, so yeah. So
some of that could be the other person not really being happy with themselves. I don't think that's always on the person that, you know what I'm saying? I think that could be the other person just not being happy, because Sarah obviously is trying to find herself as well, because at one point she was really determined about having this baby. And she said it. She said that she thought having a baby is what was going to give her worth and value to Lauren. So she's trying to still figure out her value within her relationship, maybe in life, and trying to find her place and where she fits in, which is why she was like rushing this title to be a mother, because she needed to give that to herself. She needed something. So I don't always think it's like, I don't even think that could even be Lauren's fault entirely. You know, it could be something going on with Sarah as well.
No, I don't disagree. Who do you feel has, out of all the couples in season 1, who do you feel has the most trauma? Which person has the most trauma? Based on the small sample size that we've seen. Who do you feel has the most trauma that they haven't dealt with?
Definitely Evelyn and Deshaun.
Evelyn and Deshaun. Yeah. I think I would agree that Evelyn, not necessarily Deshaun.
No, just Evelyn.
Just Evelyn. Evelyn is
on her own.
Evelyn on her own. Yeah, she definitely has.
Evelyn and Elaine. It was that the other girl with Alan.
Yes, man. Elaine and.
Or is
and
it
Alan.
Elaine and Sean? I don't know. I'm getting
Evelyn and Alan and Elaine and Deshaun. Yeah. So, but Alan and I'm pretty sure it was Elaine.
Elaine, probably. Yeah.
Man, she's right up there with like the trauma and like.
Yeah, she is.
She has not looked happy in any episode. 9 episodes, 8. We're talking about episode 8 right now, but in any of the episodes, she did not look happy at all.
No, she was crying from the moment she walked into the door. I think at any time she just started to speak, it was like she was just tearing up. So she's had a hard time, I think, just maintaining, I want to say composure. Or maybe she's just overly emotional.
Evelyn, it was Evelyn.
Evelyn and Deshaun?
It's Evelyn and Alan.
Evelyn and Alan. So the other girl is Elaine?
Elaine.
I'm so sorry. We've been messing up these people.
That's all good, man. Hey, listen, it's not about being perfect on All About the Benjamin. It's about binging and talking about that shit. And we all, anytime in the conversation, we say names wrong all the time.
It happens. Evelyn and Elaine it's easy to mix those two up.
For sure. Yeah. I definitely think now you mentioned Evelyn, I really think that I feel like she has a lot of trauma, but I feel like she's not in denial about it. I feel like Elaine is in deep denial about her trauma. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I wrote down in my notes is I said, I talked about this kind of off camera while we were watching it. She doesn't listen to Deshaun, but also listens to the therapist. Mm-hmm. And I don't like the fact that some people will talk to you or listen to the third person more than their own partner.
Right.
And it's like, damn, like I just said the exact same thing to you about my feelings.
Yeah.
And you don't acknowledge it. But here comes Lolita telling you the same thing that I just said, and now all of a sudden it makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's what you're paying the therapist for, that validation. Or
yes.
that because what it seems like, I feel like when people go to therapy, they're in a battle zone. Like it's one versus the other, pretty much. It shouldn't be like that in a relationship in general. You should be like working against the problem and not each other. But I think when people step into the realm of therapy, you're already in the mindset of it's like me versus you. Mm-hmm. And I'm right, you're wrong. My feelings are this and yours is that. So when the third person comes in and be like, well, like now you're paying this person to tell you who's right and who's wrong. So she's like,
she better listen. She better listen.
She paying them guap to pretty much just sit there and listen and tell you if you're right or wrong and pull out, what's wrong with you, pretty much. But yeah, it could be. I could see how it could definitely be annoying, especially. But Deshaun didn't even notice that. She's just like, yeah. He's just like very cool during the whole thing. Doesn't seem like it bothers him that she doesn't. Well, it probably does. Probably does bother him. I can't even say that.
I know it bothers. I think it would bother me. I haven't experienced it too often, but I do have a friend who, in our conversations, he feels like his lady doesn't take his advice about anything, right? But always wants to give him advice, and he'll tell her things to do or how to work on this or whatever, and she doesn't listen. But then she'll come home and tell a scenario that a friend or a coworker said something, and it was like, I make sense, and he was like, now
that's a lack of trust. That is, and that's definitely why there's a problem with Elaine and Sean. Evelyn? I'm still missing Elaine and Sean. Is because there is a lack of trust. She doesn't trust his words. She doesn't trust what he says. And I usually would see that or hear that from a place of like there's some type of like trust issues because someone cheated or they don't stick to their word. They don't do what they say they're going to do. I can see where you would stop trusting someone's word. But if Sean's been like being the man and not...
Seems like Deshaun on the up and up on everything.
Right. I don't see, but I feel like she has more trust issues within herself
Yeah.
And she kind of projects that onto Deshaun.
Well, yeah, they definitely, I mean, they talked about her projection of
Yeah.
her lack of trust and the things that she has tucked away.
Right.
As they say. And I think one of the themes in episode 8 was all the things that people have just tucked away and that they tuck away and not talk about. Even Alan had talked about like how they were doing better in this episode. In episode 8, they were like, we're having a really good week. And he just saying like he was taking more ownership on just communicating better. And I think at the core of relationship problems is feeling comfortable enough to trust that when you express your feelings,
You'll be heard.
You'll be heard, and it's not going to start an argument. And I don't think a lot of people, I think we all feel like we start off that way. Oh yeah, this is a safe space, and I know this person got my back. But then all it takes is one situation where that person doesn't react the way that you think they should react to a issue or concern, and then you just pull back. Yeah. And next thing you know, you just pulling back all the time on things, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah.
And I'm proud of Alan for taking that step and noticing that he was adding to, I guess, the failure or the weakness of the relationship by not expressing that he felt some type of way, and that he was trying now more to be more expressive and and they were both actually meditating together and doing things to make the relationship stronger.
Yeah.
So I was impressed because I thought they had gave it.
They made it seem like they were done.
I thought they was done out the gate.
And all we were going to see in every session with them was just the accumulation of why they were done.
Right.
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 And that's what I was expecting. Because his energy, his body language has always been pretty closed off and pretty negative.
Yeah.
And I just felt like he had checked out completely.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
she was crying every episode. He was like, "Oh man, I don't know what to say." So yeah, I thought it was done from like episode 1, 2. I was like, yeah, they're not gonna make it.
And then so they made a lot of progress. Their energy was much better. So the thing that I was a little sad about in episode 8 was Annie and Mal.
Yeah.
So they had done 11 sessions, and they had decided that they weren't going to do any more sessions. 11 was enough, and I was sad because in the beginning with them two, I felt like they had so much love for each other.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But maybe I shouldn't even say they. Annie has pretty much decided that she doesn't want to be with Mal.
She said that, but she's not going to do it.
You don't think she's going to do it?
No, she's not going to do it. Like, because I don't know if that clip of them leaving the session was, because they had a clip of them on the train.
Yeah.
After that, and they were like sharing headphones, and she like put her head
on his shoulder. Yeah.
I'm like, ain't no way she's leaving this man. Because like, if that was within the same day of them shooting that and saying that, she's not leaving that man. Or if they do leave, because she said like they're trying to wait for their son to graduate or whatever, and then maybe they'll go their separate ways. She's not leaving that man. She's not. And I think she just needs friends. That's what it sounds like. They don't like to do the same things
together.
She wants to, girl, you just need some friends, and whatever y'all do like to do together, then do that.
But what are the things they like to do together? That's the thing that we never find out. They talk about the things they don't do. It's like, okay, so you don't do things together and anything. And
they don't do what she wants to do. And he said like intellectual things, like play Scrabble. And she's like, well, don't do that. Don't make it seem like what I want to do is like stupid or whatever she said. And he was just like, no, I'm just saying you don't play golf and I don't do intellectual things with you. So it kind of seems like she just wants a different type of connection with him. And it's not like they don't do things. I think they probably do everything together, but they just don't do certain things that she probably wants to do with him.
So you think Annie's the problem? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying
it sounds like Annie's the problem. I think Annie's the problem.
No. I don't think that Annie's the problem. I think she just needs to realize that she needs some friends. So she needs to probably look for that connection elsewhere. And it doesn't have to be in a romantic way. It could just be in a, you know.
I mean, she said that Mao is she said, I love you. I love you. You're a good father.
The greatest husband.
You're a great husband. I just don't like you.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Like, how does that work? How does that work?
You know what? I think, I understand it though, oddly. I feel like people can do all the right things sometimes, and on paper it looks great, but it's not what your heart desires. And that's so fucking tough, right? Because that person can't be everything. It's like the 80-20. You have to kind of give up. You know what I'm saying? And she's probably trying to hold on to 20% of what she don't get, and fuck the 80. Like, I'm missing this little
little thing.
And this is what I want the most.
And it's causing a huge problem in the relationship.
Right. It's like, you kind of got to let go of that. Let go of this 20%. You might not get that.
What's the balance, in your opinion, between, in a relationship, having your own things you do and the things you do together, right? Because I'm very much about quality time in my relationships that I have had, but I don't want to see you all the time, and that's got to be hard. Like, I have never lived in the same place with a woman I've been dating. So that's got to be even harder. But, like, you know what? Like, I don't even want to see you right now. Well, so in your opinion, what do you think what's the balance between it? Because some people can get upset when you say, well, go, I want to do my own thing today.
Because I feel most people, actually, no, I'm not going to speak that generally. So I think maybe sometimes people are very codependent, and they can sometimes only want to exist within this bubble of you and this person. And anytime somebody leaves the bubble, they get anxiety and they don't know what to do with themselves. And they obsess about what you're doing. Yeah. And then now everything you do outside of that bubble is an issue.
Yeah.
But I feel like you need time to miss people. You need time to, like, go away, break away, do your thing, breathe. Because I feel if you're always in each other's space,
don't suffocate me, man.
Bro, there's of course there's gonna be arguments. Like, I'm spending every fucking day with you. With you. Yeah. Of course we're gonna find things to disagree on. Like, I think you would do that with any human being, not just a lover. Like, I think you would do that with anybody that you would share the same space with for an extended amount of time. Yeah. So I think it's very important for people to have, a life outside of the relationship, and, like, you don't have to spend every day, hour with this person. Y'all should come together, share good moments, and then separate and do your thing and live your life and have your own thoughts, and then come back and share those with each other. Like, I think that's what makes a relationship beautiful. Not, I don't know, it's OD.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. Like, I cannot be someone's everything, and I actually don't. I'm gonna say don't. In conversation, if I'm dating, getting to know someone, and I find out that they have, like, no friends, I'm like, yeah, this probably not gonna work.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't got that many friends.
You ain't gotta have a lot of friends, but you gotta have at least one.
Okay.
One that you can hang out with and you do something. Because you know what? In my mind, I feel like if you don't have no friends, what's gonna happen? Every time I want to go out and do something, it's going to be a problem because you want to be with me or around me. No. Now, unless you were like a completely introverted person and you just get high on your own energy and you have your own hobbies, I fuck with it. You know what I mean? But
I could spend hours. I could spend days. I could spend days alone, honestly, just vibing with myself. And in not like a freaky way. Just just like, you know, I have all these different projects in my head. Like I could spend hours just, you know.
Forgetting about your man.
Yeah. Or everybody and anybody. About the whole outside world, to be honest. So yeah, I think it's very healthy to spend some time alone.
Spend some time alone.
Or spend some time with other people.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And it's okay. As long as it's not out there late at night and doing some shady shit.
Exactly.
So episode 9, final episode of season 1 of couples therapy. Lauren and Sarah decided not to have kids. They said they're going to let the dust settle.
Thank God.
Thank God, because they definitely seemed to be moving at a very fast pace on everything.
Yeah.
So they said they had been together for 5 years and been married for 2 years, going on 3 years. And I think I was glad to see that they decided to stay together and not, go their separate ways. But it's got to be hard deciding to give up on a goal that you had for your life for the sake of a relationship.
I don't think she even did it for the sake of the relationship.
You don't think so?
No, I think she realized that she wanted it from a place of not because she just wanted to be a mother, it's because she wanted to feel valued and treasured as a mother. And it would make Lauren look at her differently. Gotcha. And it wasn't because, I want to be a mom and like this is what I really need. She was like, I need some value in this person's life, and if I have their child, like I'm gonna be everything to them.
Yeah. You may be right. Have you ever, this is kind of an off topic question, but it's related to kind of like Lauren and Sarah's situation. Are you at a place in your life where you could date a woman who was previously a man?
Wait, hold on, what?
Could you date a woman? She's a woman, but she was previously a man.
Well, I don't like women, so I'm not like bisexual.
Okay, so could you date a man who was previously a woman?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm open in the sense of like maybe if they have all the makings of a man and they have the energy of it. Like I like very masculine men. So you would have to give me some really good masculine energy. So I mean, it depends. It would definitely depend on the person. Yeah,
that's pretty open. That's pretty very open minded of you.
Yeah, I'm open. I don't know if I could like. Oh wait. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I would never date a woman. I just know I'm not attracted to women in that way, like sexually.
Yeah, I get it.
Like, nah, I don't think I don't want to put my face down there.
She can eat no pussy. That's what she basically saying, right?
Couldn't do it. Like,
hey, different strokes for different folks.
Right.
I get it.
Right, of course. But like, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we ain't gotta go down that rabbit hole. It's okay. It's all right. But yeah, I'm not at it.
Like, could you date a man or a woman who was a man at one point, but like looks like a woman, beautiful, got all the parts, feminine energy, all of that? Like, you would have probably never known if they wouldn't like, disclose that to you.
I am trying.
He's like, I'm trying to be open in 2020.
I am trying to get myself to a place to be more open to it. I think love is love, and I think you should find it and get it however you can. I think people should live their life however they want. But I'm not at a place where I'm okay dating someone who's transitioned.
Right.
Maybe one day, but I applaud and salute the people who can do that.
Right.
I think that's an amazing thing. And I just think I grew up at a time that it was different.
Yeah.
You know? So, but I am evolving. I'm all about evolving. I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on it.
Evolved man. He's trying to evolve.
I'm trying to, but it's hard.
I feel like it's okay to have your preferences. I feel like people are canceled and targeted because they have a preference.
Yeah.
It's not that they disagree with the lifestyle. They just don't prefer that. It's like, I don't prefer, certain types of men or certain whatever. That's fine. That's,
for sure.
That's what you're attracted to.
Sure.
We're not attracted to,
What's your overall thoughts on season 1 of Couples Therapy? Other than not liking a therapist, not liking... No, I'm joking.
You tell me so before I start. Don't say it.
Go ahead.
I might.
No, go ahead.
My overall thoughts were, I definitely enjoyed the couples. I think their personalities were interesting. I saw a lot in myself in every single one of them in different ways, except for the one that kept crying.
She was laughing at her every time.
Every time. I'm like, girl.
Get your life together, girl.
Girl. But it was very interesting. It was I think everyone in general should watch Couples Therapy just so they could see their faults and how they approach relationships. Because, like, I saw it and I was like, oh, yeah, I do that. And sometimes you don't know until you know. So it was very insightful. I enjoyed it. I do hope in the next seasons they get a little bit
more
deeper into
the
the real root problems and give us some real type of like solutions for these problems. Of course, we're not going to hear everything, but it was so all over the place. I couldn't really. I was kind of just watching their emotions and their like. It was just like moments, like you know what I'm saying. But I wanted it to go I need a little bit more of a storyline.
Yeah, I wonder if it seemed all over the place, just because it's like doing a first season of a podcast. Yeah. Like you're just trying to figure out the narrative and the flow and everything. I mean, even just because it's on a network doesn't necessarily mean that the writers and everyone knew that it was going to be a hit or be good, And so I do hope that in the further next seasons they go deeper. We haven't decided whether or not we're going to do season 2 yet of Couples Therapy. We're going to talk about it and figure it out. My overall thoughts are that, like you, I'm a very self-reflective person, and I looked for mannerisms that these couples were doing that maybe unconsciously I did or would do or have done, and try to say, you know what, I don't want to have that type of body language when I'm talking to someone who I love, right? And it has been, I think it's been too short. I think the episodes are too short, in my opinion. Like, I feel like those are like 30-minute episodes, and it's not enough. Like you said, it's not enough detail, in my opinion. But I have enjoyed it. I'm going to ask you this question: what's the one thing that you learned? What's the one thing you've learned from season 1 of Couples Therapy that you would apply to your life, if anything? It might not be anything. That same question goes to y'all. What's the one thing, if you're watching season 1, if you watch it along with us, what's the one thing you've learned in season 1 of Couples Therapy that you will apply to your life?
That's a good question. I think one of the episodes where Elaine, where the therapist was talking. Well, she was talking about how she was like, she was crying, or tears was falling from her eyes, but she wasn't crying. It's like that detachment can be detached from our feelings. I've experienced that where I kind of like where I don't want to show emotion or acknowledge it. And I've learned that it could be very damaging to like the person you're in a relationship with, but mostly to yourself. You know? You get kind of like, it's like a dissociative type of, almost like a personality disorder, almost. So I feel like, that you have to like deal with how you feel and accept that it's okay to feel, you know, either hurt or pain or whatever. And it's a natural part of our human experience. And go through it. Go through it. Don't hide away from it. Don't try to fight it. Just the only way to get through it is to actually just go through it. So that's why she hadn't, I think, recovered in the best ways, and why she was constantly triggered, because she never let herself kind of like fully express how she felt.
What's going on? Yeah.
So I you know, I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person.
Right. So that was a good one for me, I would say. What about you?
I would say the one thing that I learned that I'm going to try to apply to my life or my relationships is really just being okay expressing how I feel without worrying so much about the reaction of that person. Because I'm not a fighter. I am absolutely a lover and a healer, and I want to fix shit. I want us to be good. I'm more like Mao. Like, I'm just like, look, life is good. Like, let's just, it ain't that serious. But there are times in all forms of my relationships, my friendships, my family ships, where I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to rock the boat. It ain't that big of a deal.
Same. Yeah, I feel you.
But I think what I've seen in season 1 is like, that is the crust of the problem in all the relationships. Like, they're not saying how they feel because they don't want to upset someone. They don't want to trigger someone. And then it just causes a bigger issue because, like Alan, he feels some kind of way, so he goes out and does things out of resentment for how his lady made him feel, and he knows it's sort of like self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
So I think that's just part of it. So that's one thing I'm definitely trying to do to be better at. I think there's always room for improvement in general. So yeah, that's what I learned.
And you know what? I actually heard, so TikTok. I learned on TikTok.
I love TikTok.
I learned on TikTok that somebody said something that kind of like resonated with me, because me too, I'm kind of like Mal, where like I'll deal with my conflicts internally and I kind of won't even bring it up, and I'll just deal. But they said for you to have like close, like really close and intimate relationships with people, conflict must be present. Like, you have to have conflict, and you have to know how to work through the conflict. For you to have like a really like close and intimate and like rich relationship. And I was like, I was like, I never, and I was like, it just made me think of like, maybe the reason why I didn't feel deep connections with people is because I always avoided conflict, and we had this like superficial relationship. Yeah. Because they really didn't know how I felt, you know, and maybe vice versa in some cases. So it is important to express how you feel and work through conflict.
Listen, y'all will be surprised at how many women are emotionally unavailable out here dating. I think I would say I only date women. I'm sure there's a lot of men emotionally unavailable too. But there's been so many women that I've dated where I'm sitting there and I'm really like, damn, she's a dope person. But she doesn't tell me how she feels.
So, you know, it's so funny because I've actually experienced more emotionally unstable men than emotionally unavailable men.
I can see that. I can understand that.
They're emotionally available, maybe.
But they're unstable.
Too much, but they're very unstable. So, and it's very weird that you say that, because I usually hear women are usually emotionally unstable, but they're available. Like, they'll tell you exactly how you feel. So maybe, what if it's like what we attract?
I mean, that definitely can be part of it for sure. Yeah, I mean, I just remember like being at the bar with this one woman I was dating, and she could only express herself when she had some drinks.
Oh,
but
that's interesting.
But it was never. And I remember clearly, like we were at the bar one day, and we were sitting there, and she's drinking, and all of a sudden she starts telling me how she feels. And I'm sitting there, and I'm smiling, right? Even though she's kind of like, she's not necessarily going off, but she is like
going in.
She's like, "What are you smiling at?" And I was like, "I'm just happy that you are telling me how you feel, because now I know how to move, right? Like I can deal with it once we talk about it,
right?
But I don't know if I don't know how you feel, what you're thinking. I don't know how to move.
Right.
So I've always wanted to always create a safe space in my dating relationships for that. So, but yeah, I guess.
You know what I think this is interesting?
What's that?
I feel like a safe space can be created. I feel like with a lot of women that deal with trauma, you can't really express yourself if you are still living in your trauma. So, for example,
Good point.
Like if you're in a relationship and y'all are constantly triggering each other, how do you get out of that to feel safe again, to be vulnerable? You know what I'm saying? Or like do you think you could be in a relationship with somebody who constantly triggers you?
Oh no, there's no way. I mean, you have to be fully aware of what your triggers are. So I think I could. Let me phrase that. I think I could if I know what my triggers are and I've expressed those triggers to my partner, and they are aware of those, and they are doing their best not to trigger, because people can't just change overnight and say, okay, I'm not going to do that ever again because I see it triggers you. But you can consciously make a decision to do better and better.
Right.
So if I see the person that's working to do better and not triggering me, I absolutely could. But a lot of that also has to be me working through my own triggers. I can't just tell somebody these are my triggers and then not be working on my own shit, because now they're walking around on eggshells. And I don't think that's good. Could you be in a relationship with someone who constantly triggers you? I already did that shit. I done been doing it, and I did it for a long time. I ain't doing it again.
You know, I'll just say I can't say yes or no. I can just, the same as you. You can only identify what your triggers are.
Yeah.
I feel like there are some people who just won't trigger you because maybe y'all vibe on a different level or different energy.
Yeah.
But I'm on the other spectrum. I feel like if you do have a trigger, then there's obviously something you need to work through. So it's like, it's hard because who the fuck wants to be triggered all the time? I really don't. Like we don't know how long we have on this earth, and I'd be mad as hell if I spent whatever my last days trying to not be triggered by somebody, opposed to just being with somebody who doesn't trigger me. So it's a very I see the pros in staying in it and trying to work through it, and maybe coming to a place where that person no longer triggers you. But how long does that take?
Yeah, sometimes you got to know when to cut and run.
How long do you have to wait to not, to learn and not be triggered? And it's like, I feel like it's a whole process.
I feel like it'll be a hell of a lot of more work.
Right, because how long has Elaine and Mal been together, and now she wants to call it quits after 25 fucking years?
Long time.
It's just how long do you have to wait to live peacefully? I don't know if I want to wait that long. I'd rather just be like, fuck it. I'm gonna just be a cat lady, and
you ain't gonna be no cat lady, but we'll see what happens. So what show should we do next?
There's a show on Stars I really want to get into. For the life of me, I can't think of the name right now, but I think I sent it to you. I did send it to you.
I think you did send it to me. I think it was it wasn't Snow. It wasn't Snowfall.
No. It was with the. Listen.
What was it? What was it? What was it?
It was with the girl who cheated on her husband, and they end up going to a bar, and it's in there somewhere.
Somewhere in the chat.
I got squirrel brain. I'm so sorry.
Let us know what y'all think we should binge and talk about. This is a podcast about TV shows, so we can watch whatever. Let us know. I'm down for whatever. So we're gonna discuss it.
Yeah.
and see what it can be. And we're gonna keep it moving. Cause even though season 1 of couple therapy is done, doesn't mean that season 1 of All About the Benjamins is done. No. So we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna find it out. We're gonna be back here shortly with a new show.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, y'all, holla.
Bye.